Hello and welcome to my creepy basement. So the only reason I'm starting the video here today is that today I have a whole bunch of things I have to do. It's kind of that time of year when you have so many like little projects to do and nothing big to do. So first off, I'm sowing a whole bunch of seeds today. So I thought we'd just start here. I'm not going to go over a lot of detail about it because we've covered that. And you guys have probably seen enough seed starting videos this year to last a lifetime. One of the fun quirks here is that the lights down here are motion activated, so if I stop moving too long, the lights turn off. So that makes it a great place to shoot a video. The first thing I'm going to be sowing is actually strawberry. This is Deliz strawberry. Let's see if you can see that. Okay. And this was developed by the same company that developed the Proven Winners strawberries. So I have not grown these from seeds before, but this is an all-American selection, so I'm going to be starting those. Those are going to go straight into cells. I'm just going to put regular old potting mix straight in here and hopefully never have to pot them on. We'll just grow them on there and they'll go straight into the garden from there. And then I'll be starting a few other things, but this is where we're going, and then we'll move outside and got some projects to do out there. Have I showed you guys my favorite new tool? This is an ice scooper. I got it online for like $10. This is the 57 ounce. It happens to be perfect for scooping soil, and it's way less expensive than some of the scoops that they make specifically for that purpose. The only thing I wish it had a flat bottom because that would make it easier for like scooping out of a tray. But for $10, like really, what can you say? So several years ago, we took out the utility sink in our basement and replaced it with a walk-up dog bathtub that we bought from a grooming business that was going out of business. And it turns out that walk-in dog bathtubs are also perfect places to water seed trays. So these seeds don't need vernalization. Some strawberry seeds do, and these are F1 hybrids. So if I saved seeds from these strawberries, they would not come true. So when it comes to sowing really small seeds, if you want to be, I don't have a lot of these, so if you want to be particular about one of the things that works really well is a just slightly damp toothpick. I don't have a toothpick, but I do have this plant stake. But I think if you see how I just picked up that seed? So that is how I'm going to sow these. And I'm just going to kind of swipe them on the surface. You don't need to bury these because strawberries need light to germinate. To be honest with you, normally I wouldn't be this particular about it, but I don't have a ton of these seeds. They just sort of sit on like this. Then I'm just going to top these up with just a light dusting of vermiculite. They do need light to germinate, so don't want to block out all the light. But that'll keep moisture in and keeps the tops from getting kind of gross. So this is going to be a temporary move into these pots because do you see how many roots are already at the sides here? So it's time for these guys to get moved on to little 4-inch pots, which I will do soon. But for the time being, I need this tray to put more seedlings in. So this is going to be here, and maybe tomorrow I will come back and pot these all on. Okay, so all finished planting up seeds. This is what the seed starting area looks like right now. It's not pretty, but you know, this gets the job done. So what I planted up today, these are the strawberries. I took the humidity domes off so you could see everything. This whole thing is sitting on a germination mat. So these all have heat. Here's the strawberries. This is snapdragons and some more foxglove. Both of those require light to germinate, so I moved the trays above them so they can get the light from the light that's on the top shelf there. Down here, this one is quaking oatgrass and some Echinacea pallida, the pale coneflower. I have some of that actually also I've winter sown some of that, but I don't know how that's going to work, so we'll see. And then this one is the one I am most excited about. This is Cheer Blue Delphinium, which is a new All-American selection. It's supposed to be, it's not like a spiky delphinium, it's like kind of a mounding flower. It's supposed to do well in cooler areas because it'll keep blooming for a longer time. It's hard to find the seed right now. I sort of begged and got a pack of seeds. They're a little hard to find. Okay, I'm all done planting. This is the seed starting area, or where I'm growing everything right now. It's not pretty, but it works. If you need to know what any of this stuff is, I'll link to a blog post where I talk about this whole setup. Here's what I planted today. Here is the Deliz strawberries. And this is snapdragons and foxglove, chantilly light salmon, and the foxglove was obscura sunset. Both of these need light to germinate, so I've moved the trays on the shelf above them so they benefit from the light above. And I've taken all the humidity domes off for now just so you can see this. This is quaking oatgrass and pale purple coneflower, Echinacea pallida, which I have also winter sown, but I'm trying some inside too, just in case. And then this is the one that I am most excited about. This is Cheer Blue Delphinium. Of course, it looks like nothing right now. I planted these in cells. This is an All-America selection winner. It's supposed to do well in cooler areas where it's going to continue blooming. It's not a big spiky flower. It's more of a mounding, but it's supposed to be really blue and beautiful. So I'm really hoping that works out well. Next row down, and then of course I've got the basil that I just moved back there, which as soon as I get myself some potting mix, I'm going to move those on. I'm going to actually run to the store, I think, right now to get some. And here we've got some foxglove. These, I just took the humidity dome off of these, mostly because I needed the space on the germination mat. If you can see the little, let's see if I can get you to see the very little starts in there. There we go. So those are just sort of getting going here. And then down on the bottom right now, I do have another germination mat going down there. And I just planted up some purple bell vine and I put those directly in 4-inch pots. Those vines grow so quickly that I find they do better to just start them in big pots from the get-go. So those are there. And then up on top, we've got just some onions that I'm growing and a little bit of sedum. Okay, so it's the next day. It turned out that yesterday was really cold outside. It was warm, but the wind was very cold. So I just ran to the garden center and picked up the supplies I needed so I could pot on that basil and a few other things I had to do. But it's the next day now. We are back outside to do all the things I meant to do yesterday. So on the agenda for today, not a lot, but nice little jobs to check off, which is one, I think it's time to clean out the holiday containers. Sorry, I just like looking at them and it's better than nothing, but now I'm really sick of them, so they gotta go. And then we're gonna do some hydrangea pruning. That one's still frozen, so no cleaning that out, which stinks because I am anxious to get rid of the Christmas tree. So unfortunately, my plan to clean out all the winter boxes was sort of foiled because most of them are still frozen solid. So I was able to get parts out of some. I've got some of it cleaned up. I feel a little bit better about some of that. But anyway, it is time, frozen pots or not, to get on top of the hydrangea pruning. Again, I'm not going to get into a big how-to on this because I have a whole video on that, and I'm doing the same thing I do every year, but I thought you might want to just quick go along with me because we got to get that checked off the list. So these 3 limelights are actually planted on a decline here, but I like for them to all end up the same height so that you can't tell that when you're looking at the deck. So what I normally do is use the top edge of the deck as my guideline for where I want to prune them all back to. So the last one is actually taller than the rest, but because it's planted downhill, you don't notice. So my neighbor just stopped over and said, I've got hydrangea all over my hair. So I don't know what this looks like right now, but definitely not a beauty contest. Okay, so you can see what I did back here. You know, this time of year, everything has to get a little uglier before it gets pretty. The one thing I do, even if I'm not doing any kind of major pruning on Hydrangea paniculata, is take the old flower heads off because sometimes they'll get stuck in there as the leaves open up and then it's kind of harder to get them out. So at the very least, I go through there and make sure to nip off all the old flower heads. Now I'm going to hit up the Hydrangea Arborescens, which is Incredible, Annabelle, all of those. And those just go, I usually leave about maybe 18 inches just to provide some support for the new stems. These are all hydrangeas that bloom on new growth. So this kind of pruning is totally appropriate. So that's just a quick shot into what's happening in my garden today. I hope you are having a great day in your garden. Hey, subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell so you know whenever I post a video because it's never on a schedule. Catch you soon.